This is All Things Cancer, the podcast of the National Foundation for Cancer Research. Hosted by NFCR President and CEO Dr. Sujuan Ba, each episode explores the hindsight, insights, and foresight of cancer research and care, and how NFCR and its partners are accelerating the path to cures. In this episode, we sit down with Tom Clark, whose wife Bernadette, his high school sweetheart of over 50 years, passed away from glioblastoma in 2019. Tom shares their story with honesty and heart, from her first symptoms to her final days at home, and talks about why he's now devoted to helping other caregivers navigate this same journey. This is All Things Cancer.
Hi, Tom. It's so good to welcome you to NFCR office today. How is your drive from Philadelphia?
Long, but we're here. We got past all the traffic mess.
And I am so grateful for you to have this discussion with me. I know you and your wife were dealing with your wife's GBM, glioblastoma, the most malignant brain cancers. And your wife, Bernadette, passed away about 8 years ago now.
Right. March 22nd, 2019.
So I know you reached out to NFCR after Bernadette's passing, and you wanted to help other caregivers, other patients. So could you share with me more about your life with Bernadette? And I believe you told me you guys were high school sweethearts, right?
Yes.
So tell me more about Bernadette.
Well, we were the high school sweethearts. We met in Wildwood, New Jersey, our summer jobs at the local A&P, and she was a cashier and I was a bagger. It progressed from there. We were married, and that was after that was 1966. We were married June of 69. And as I put it, we started dating in June of 66, and we continued to date for 52 years and 9 months.
Wow, that's unbelievably sweet.
And she was an awesome lady. After our youngest was in kindergarten, she decided she was going to go to school to be a nurse. I said, okay, we'll support that. And she progressed well. And in fact, she was voted by her peers and the doctors at Christiana Care to be the nurse of the year in 2016.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yep.
She must be a very persistent, caring person, taking care of the children, then later on pursue a nursing degree and nursing career. I have tremendous amount of respect and admiration for nurses after several hospitalizations myself.
After she was a nurse for a while, I said, you're doing so good at that. Why don't you go back to school to be a doctor? I said, we can afford it. Go back to school to be a doctor. And she says, no, because if I do that, then I lose my patient contact. I want to be a nurse, and that's what I want to do.
She wanted to be in touch with the patient.
Yes.
And so she probably had those tremendous insights being with patients, all kinds of patients.
Yes.
What type of specialty is she?
Well,
was she?
She ended up with a bunch of initials after her name, but she was one of the first nurses asked to be a nurse on the Christiana Care ACE unit, which was the acute care for the elderly.
For the elderly. So I remember you shared the fact that she pushed her diagnosis about testing and realized she had brain cancer.
We had some symptoms that were going on. We had no clue what was going on.
So she already retired, I think?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were retired for a couple of years. And in fact, the first symptom appeared when we were in Cuba on a mountain trail. And she had great difficulty placing her foot on the stone path. And we later figured out
So she was a little bit off balance.
it was more in retrospect, it was not so much being off balance, but her brains were connecting to her legs to say, step here, and she would step at the wrong place and stumble.
Wow.
So
That must be scary in foreign country.
later on, she recovered. There was no more symptoms.
So the whole trip, that was the initial only issues you
That was-
observed.
Well, she slipped and fell out of bed that night and had great difficulty coordinating how to stand up. And again, then when she woke up the following morning, no more symptoms. Everything was good. And then as it progressed, walking, she would shuffle her feet. And there was an episode when we were at we were assisting with nativity scenes where I was the tax collector and she was admitting all the people coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a big surge of people came in at one time. And Sarah said she got very frustrated and she started shaking. And
that was a very dramatic observation you saw.
No, I didn't
Behavior
see
change.
it. They told me about it. And it was completely out of character for her. Nothing ever fazed her.
Yeah, that's
Nothing ever fazed her.
one of the things I heard from patients and physicians. The brain cancer patients sometimes act out of their characters.
Yes.
That was one of the early signs.
And immediately, the doctors who were there said she didn't have to go to the hospital, but to see our doctor first thing on Monday morning. And then saw her.
So they told you to go to see your family physician.
Yes.
Instead of going to hospital ER.
Correct. She said because they checked her, all of her physical signs were perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't any imminent danger that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was calm. It was just like everything calmed down. And then the doctor, because there was other traumas going on at that time, he decided he was investigating. It was all caused by stress. And okay. And then her physical things started occurring more often. When we're walking, she would shuttle her feet. She would just, when she went to get ready in the morning, it took her a long time to get ready in the morning.
And that was not usual.
Oh, no. Completely out of character.
Yes.
And I kept notes in my phone every day, exactly what she was doing, what was happening to her.
And even at that time, your doctor didn't send her to do the CAT scan or MRI.
That happened shortly, because when we called our doctor again, he said, come in and see me now. Mm-hmm. And we did. And Bernadette had told me before we went there, she said, I have a tumor.
She just felt.
She had a tumor.
But that was not diagnosed by any
No,
doctor.
not diagnosed.
She felt herself with her own nursing experience.
And she told the doctor that after he's checking her. And he said, okay, I want you to go over right now and have a CAT scan. Yes. Have a CAT scan done. And he told me, but don't leave there until you hear from me. Keep your phone on. And
it's a very responsible doctor.
Yep. And then he called and said, there's a mass on the brain. Take her directly to Christiana Hospital. I've called them. They're waiting for you. And
she was right. She
knew. She was right.
She knew.
She knew.
Yeah, she knew. She felt it. That must be a huge shock for you.
It was a shock, but it was the attitude that I had throughout the process. Okay, what do we got to do to fix it? What do I have to do?
So you are working mode as a plant manager now. Trouble happens.
Yeah.
What can we fix?
Right, because as plant manager, you get many different problems going on at the same time.
Right?
Every-
Firefighting.
Everybody wants it fixed now. So
Yeah.
I just, all right, what we got to do to fix this? Worst part was at Christiana, they wanted to put her in for the MRI,
Yes.
and she had them before. And I said, I need to be in there with her. She's claustrophobic. And all I do is I just hold her feet while she's in the tube. And they said, okay, we'll do that. And I got down there and they had, I guess, a nurse who decided, you can't do that. It's against protocol. I said, well, this isn't going to work. And they couldn't take the CAT scan because she couldn't stay still, or the MRI. And then through my son's connections, he made a phone call to Johns Hopkins.
Yes. That's one of the best hospitals in the country.
And it was to see Dr. Weingart, and he was the head of surgery, the neurosurgery. And we went in, saw him. I said, we have to let me hold her foot while she's in there. And he said, that won't be a problem.
They should be a little bit flexible with that kind of request.
Well,
That's actually a good tip for other families, because I heard a lot of people saying claustrophobia was a problem when the patient needed to go into the CAT scan or MRI.
it was a combination of the CAT scan and that constant that. It just really upset her.
Yeah.
So
I did once, and I felt very scared myself.
Yep.
So that was the beginning of the hospitalization and brain surgery. So she had a brain surgery,
right,
and she had chemo and radiation.
right. It was that was conducted Christmas week,
Oh,
and this is sort of funny. Was she wanted to be home for Christmas,
she wanted to be home.
and when Dr. Weingart came in to check on her, I'm going to go home for Christmas. And he said, not until you can get up and walk to the bathroom 3 times. And he left. And I knew right then, I said, we're going to be home for Christmas. She's going to walk.
She had the will.
Yep. So then we were discharged Christmas Eve day to go home.
That was a good thing, though.
Yep.
That was a very good thing. And she get to be celebrating the holiday with families and
Right.
friends.
Then there was another visit to Dr. Weingart. And that's when he said, with treatments, her life expectancy was 3 to 14 months because it was stage 4.
Stage 4.
Because he said there were so many nodules. They were too deep and too many for him to operate.
So he didn't do the surgery at all?
Oh, no. All they did the biopsy and opened her head up and looked into her brain. And that's when he saw too many nodules.
Many nodules.
And they were too deep. And he said, we cannot operate.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
So, well, they were just the facts. And that's why I'm angry at cancer.
It hurts.
It hurts. And I just took the attitude, we're going to beat you. The cancer cell. Take all the personalities out of it. I hate the cancer cell. All forms.
GBM was one of the most malignant brain cancers. For the last 30-some years, we had not gotten better treatment. And that was one of the cancer focus areas NFCR has been very dedicated for the last 15, 20 years. And we are one of the early supporters for the GBM Agile. We wanted to revolutionize the clinical trial system so that brain cancer patients will get the better treatments quicker. Because 3 to 16 months, we will not have the timeline that fits the traditional out-of-dated clinical trial systems.
My focus, well, I figured the doctors are going to do the best they can. My focus was with her declining symptoms, and they're all varied symptoms. What can I
Every
expect?
day was different.
Every day was different, and how do I take care of it? And everyone I asked in the Helen Graham Cancer Center, everywhere, they said each case is different.
Yeah, because it was the neural system, central nerve system, the brain got affected. Yeah.
So I, throughout that whole process, I kept notes in my phone. What happened every day? What do we do? Boom, boom, boom. And
So let me ask you, now she got confirmed with the tumor, with cancer,
yes,
with the GBM. And between the first sign, I guess, when you were in Cuba, and then the confirmation, how long was that?
until she went to sleep.
No, confirmation of the
Let me see. Well, we were there
diagnosis.
the middle of November, and the biopsy was Christmas week. So it's less than a month.
I would assume those early signs are good to good information to share with our listeners.
Yes. It basically was things that were completely out of character. And her gradual loss of motor control. But that was after the biopsy and the confirmation where those things got
Worse.
a lot worse.
Oh.
So what my questions were, how do I take care of her now?
So
What
you
do I do?
immediately become primary caregiver.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And less than 1 month to prepare for this.
Yes.
So how did you find this experience at the beginning? How, like you immediately say got to fix it. You must have some system that you establish with all the notes on your phone. You mapped out specific action plans and tips, tools.
Well, what
Could you share?
what we did was each thing would be different. Yeah, we had all the processes that we started when we first came home. I had handrails installed, and it continued just to get worse. So then it was okay, think outside of the box and adapt to what her needs are. I think after about a month, it was, sounds silly, but one of the best things we had, our good friends from right down the street, Griska. I told her about how difficult it was for Bernadette to get up and then transition to the potty. And she says, I have a turntable. So she brought back a turntable off of her kitchen table, and it was perfect.
Like a
Was-
lazy Susan.
Yeah, not a lazy Susan. It was just a big flat wooden disc like this, and it sort of like a lazy Susan, it would turn. The base stayed still, and then the top would turn.
That's
So I figured
smart. That's
so I
very
figured,
smart.
well, I said, this is going to work great because she maintained strength in her legs. She just lost the motor, how to turn, how to
Yes,
do.
yes.
So by that point, I bought her a power lift chair.
Mhm.
So when she would just stand up out of the chair,
Mhm.
and we get her to stand up. And as she's standing up, I would take one foot, put it in the middle of the turntable, make sure she's steady, take the other foot, put it there, and then I would just spin it. And then pull the potty over or wherever, or the kitchen table, whatever, pull it over next to her. And then I say, okay, we can sit down now. And we would sit down.
Wow, that was very, very creative.
Well,
Very
it was just,
useful.
we're going to do something. And we just kept plugging.
I
And then
don't think people, even medical or nursing facilities were teaching people to do that. Because I remember when I was caring for my mother at the late stage, she had lost all the strength from her legs. We had to have two people to help her to go to potty.
Well, I ended up taking that turntable everywhere, everywhere. So at one of the radiation sessions, the table broke. So as you know, I'm not allowed in there. And then they came out, the table broke, and we're having a hard time to get her to move from the other table. I just said, stop whatever you're doing. I'll be back. I went to the car, got the turntable, and then they told me I was allowed to get in there.
Their table was broken.
Right.
And your table was working.
Right. So we just did the whole drill. Okay. And then you sit down, put her on there, spar, and then they got her into the wheelchair so they could take her somewhere else. And that head of radiation said, "This is ingenious." And he took a picture of it.
Yes.
He says, "I'm going to have our maintenance department build this."
Yes, exactly. It's very genius
And
creation.
and this is where
Well,
family is.
application, I should say.
Yep. And family was involved the whole time because she ended up having great difficulty to get out of the car, in and out of a car. So the first radiation treatment that we went to, because they tend to all newer, they're making a fuss over, and they came out with a Hoyer lift to pick her up, to get her, and that turned out to be a disaster.
Oh, it wouldn't work.
So I said, okay, tomorrow we'll bring the turntable. And what we did was, when she sat down in the car, we had a whole process for transporting her. In that we'd take a beach towel, lay it on the seat. So it's nice to have leather seats, and you sit it on the seat because it was a 2-person operation. Then the driver would say, okay, when you're ready, I'd have burn it on the turntable, spin her around. So, okay, perfect position, sit down now. But you can't get all the way into the seat. But that wasn't a problem, because then the driver would pull the beach towel to pull her up.
Yeah.
And then I turned her legs, put her down.
Yeah.
And we did the same thing in the house. When she would sit somewhere, even with the power lift chairs, we always put a towel on it, because as you know, you sit somewhere for a while, you sort of slide down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so I wouldn't have to pull her by the arms. We would just pull the beach towel off.
Unbelievable.
So it was just a matter of get it done and think outside the box.
So at the end of Bernadette's life, she probably lost speech ability.
Oh yes, very, very early on, because the one thing I know and feel, her brain never stopped functioning.
Her brain was
Very
active.
knew what she wanted, but with the muscle control, she couldn't say what she wanted to say. And we developed with my sons, we helped develop charades. We play charades until we work with the word, and then we get the word and then put the other word together, and then it would be the sentence as to what she wanted to say. And she'd have smile from ear.
Game. That's a game.
Just like the game. And then she had to smile from ear to ear, saying yes, yes. Because early on, before the biopsy, because we knew she was not going to be able to communicate, we set up a system. I heard, we're just going to make it real simple. Yes and no questions. And she would grab my fingers, and if the answer is yes to the question, squeeze my fingers. And if the answer is no, don't do anything. And that's how we communicated. And we kept that communication up until the last day, squeezing fingers. But it worked.
Yeah.
And the other nice thing about with the turntable, it was awesome because I got to hug her 10 times, 15 times a day.
So touching story, Tom. I'm so sorry to bring up this painful experience from the hardest time in your life.
Well, that was my goal. After she passed, all the trials and errors we had to go through, the vision was this database of all the different things that can happen with glioblastoma.
Yes.
And here's this symptom, and then have 3 or 4 different solutions to it.
Yes.
Instead of someone getting the answer,
One
every
by
case
one.
is different.
Yes.
So at least
Exactly.
give options that you can do.
So you assembled this database.
Yeah, I kept it in my phone. And that's afterwards, I went back to the same hospitals, the same Helen Graham Center. I have this concept. What do you think? Can you help put it together? I would either get a flat no, or I would get the pat on the head. They would say, "Oh, that's a great idea. We'll get back to you." And after I heard that different places 3 or 4 times, I figured, they're never going to come back.
You reach out to the hospitals.
The hospitals, I was in a meeting, if you will, with Senator Chris Coons. I figured this is great because Delaware's Joe Biden,
Yes.
Bo Biden had passed her.
Yes.
This is going to get attention.
Had Kennedy died of GBM.
And I figured this is great. This is going to get attention. So I asked him, "Oh, that's a good idea. My staff will get back to you." Then I got on their website asking the questions. "That's great. We'll get back to you."
Never. Have you reached out to other cancer charities before you reached out to NFCR?
Yes. And really didn't know where to go. And then actually I responded to a donation
From
for you
us.
guys,
From us.
right?
So got a package from us and you made a donation, you reached out to us.
Yep.
So basically, after you reach out to all the hospitals, politicians, and other charities, you kind of stopped until you got a package from us and connected with my staff members and our staff talked to
you all did everything.
We developed an article
Yep.
with all the key critical informations you shared.
Yep.
And yeah, we use a blog in a general way. We put that article actually on our website, and we communicated through the social medias. And I believe we got a lot of people's notice for that. It's very useful. Thank you for doing that.
Well, no, I thank you for listening because you were the first to listen.
Because we really believe just by supporting cancer researchers, that's one thing, one important thing. But working with patients to figure out what needed to be done, what kind of information needed to be spread and amplified to help patients dealing with that and help family members dealing with the experience. And that's also very important. That's our ultimate goal is not only about finding cures, but saving people's lives. And we need to be hearing patient's voice, patient-centric voice.
I can't remember all the other, I call them my learned experiences that I mailed to everyone to expand.
And your
So-
passion was unbelievable. Your passion of helping other families is so admiring.
Well, don't give me the glory for that because I was angry at cancer.
Mhm.
And this was my way of saying, fighting back.
Yes, fighting back. Exactly. And not only you were doing it, you actually mobilized your whole family to join you.
And I didn't have to ask, they just did it.
You have a wonderful family. I had the pleasure and honor meet quite a few members of yours,
Debbie, my
like
daughter.
our summit meeting.
She's my daughter-in-law, and Allie's my granddaughter. And yep,
And
Jenny,
Jeannie, your new
forever partner.
fiance, right?
Yes.
So tell me, I know this can be a difficult question you don't have to answer, Tom, but I know a lot of people probably have that in mind. We encountered that. So when a loved one, when one of the spouses, one spouse passed away, the left behind spouse did everything they could to carry the torch, carry the legacy, try to fight back. And they did it for several years. And then at a certain point, they have new loved ones appearing in their life. And many people actually struggle whether they would continue with the new person coming into their life. And how did you balance the sensitivities here?
I'm glad you asked that because I was in grief counseling. In fact, my grief, the story behind it, they were out of the Delaware Cancer Society.
Mhm.
And when I saw that title, I would call them to think they can help me with this project. I thought that's what they were about. So I called them. They asked me to come in, and then they explained what they were. They were caregivers. But not caregivers. They were grief
Support.
support system. And he said, I understand your passion for getting this done, but I think you need some help. Why don't you let us help you? So it started with them.
Wow, that's very nice recognition they did to help you,
And his
the
name is,
reading.
shout out I give my counselor was Aaron Wheeler. And he decided it would be better if he just came to my home. So he would come to my home, and it was a year, I guess. 2 years? No, it was 2 years.
After Bernadette
Yeah.
was gone.
And I told him, I met this really nice lady, Jenny, but I'm afraid. I don't know what to do because I feel like I'm not honoring Bernadette if I start. And he just looked me in the eye and he just said, Tom, you have enough room in your heart to love two women.
That was a good message.
Yeah.
That was a very important message.
Aaron, and continues to be awesome. He's just awesome.
Yeah. So Jeannie came into life and into your life, and Jeannie is also very supportive of your cause also.
Yes.
And she wanted to join your crusade, I should say. And that's wonderful.
Yep.
That's really wonderful. So looking back, what other things you think the system failed you?
Not having the best advice I got was the recovery nurse after the biopsy at Johns Hopkins. And she said, whatever you do, keep everything quiet. And that's the point I'm making. That was the only one who gave me any advice as to how to care for her.
That's all?
Everything else was very clinical. We're doing this, we're doing that. But how to care for her, what to anticipate, what might happen next. Like, no one said that she might lose the ability to speak. It was just a gradual progression. No one told me about the progression of how the motor skills would continue to diminish because it took me too long to figure out. I figured out, wait a minute. She's right-handed. Everything that was on the right side, moving her legs, moving her hand, doing anything, great difficulty. But while she's moving, if I had her move to the left, she could move her foot to the left.
So
And that was progressing. And then eventually she couldn't move that leg either, but it was just like being ready for if you have a cold, you have a cold and you're sneezing.
Right.
With glioblastoma, it's a steady progression of deterioration of the brain not being able to communicate to the motor skills of your body. Now, that's my description of it. I'm not a doctor or anything, but
that's plain fact.
That's
But
myself.
that's still very simple description, right? Caregivers needed to be prepared mentally. What those
And that's
symptoms or what this process would be, what you need to be ready, right? It was not clear.
and
It's
that's
not there.
That's the vision. If that was written down as a step, be prepared for this or be prepared for that, then you're better suited to take care of your loved one when, okay, it's the paralysis isn't there now, but I know it's coming and here's how I will be prepared for it.
How did you deal with all the toxicities from the radiation and the chemo? I knew those were brutal.
That's when it stopped because after one radiation treatment, she got violently ill in the car.
Oh.
And she just got violently sick. And my brother, Jim, he was driving and he said, I'm going to take care of this. He got us home and he took my car home so he could clean it. And later that day, she said, I don't want to go back. Meaning the following day. I said, that's okay. It's quite okay.
Yeah.
And then when she
You had to listen to the patient's voice and
then,
decision.
then when she woke up in the morning, she said, I don't ever want to go back. I said, it's time. I'll call the doctors. We'll never go back. So I called him and he was very nice and understanding. And he said, well, I suggest that you continue the chemo, but also call for hospice help right now. And that's what we did.
So did she continue chemo?
Oh, yes.
She did.
Until that prescription, because I had all the pills to give her.
Oh,
And I just followed that regimen of giving her the pills until they expired.
I see. And she had a hospice service at home.
Yes.
That must
She never
be,
left home.
that must be difficult also, right? To be able to take care of patient at the end of life.
I was on autopilot. It was just like, no matter what else happens, we'll just take it and do the best we can with it to
I struggled.
care for her.
I struggled with my mom's hospice at home. I was not prepared.
Unfortunately, we were, because my mother stayed at our house with hospice care.
You know, we still have so much to do. The research needed to be more targeted, more precision based. NFCR now is really pushing for the individualized research utilizing AI to combat those malignant cancers. And one of the areas now we see early onset cancer for young people. That's alarming trend. For the last 30 years, we have made good progress for lots of cancers. Unfortunately, we didn't make impactful treatments yet for TPM, but there is a whole community, lots of organizations. One particular organization, NFCR, was part of the founding members, supporters, is Global Coalition for Adaptive Research. We are very committed to push this forward on GBM. Another prevalent and deadly cancer is pancreatic cancer.
Yes.
So for me, I think as nonprofit leaders, those the hard ones to tackle, can never give up on those patients who need the new treatments most. And for young people, right now, those early onset cancer problems, we got to understand why. And the last 30 years, we had made lots of progress. And for people 65, the incidents are coming down because of better detection, better diagnosis, better treatments. But now we are seeing more and more young people, younger than 50 years old, are getting diagnosis. That's unusual. People think cancer is an old people problem, but we are seeing emerging trend. So NFCR now is also pushing forward, looking at the causes, looking at the problems, and figuring out how to stop that. We have just launched the Patient Community Hub, like I mentioned earlier. And your sharing will be on it, Tom. We will honor Bernadette's legacy. All your suffer Oh, you're struggling, trying to get the message out. We heard you. We'll put it on. I'm sure you will be able to help people globally. We will definitely share your information. Love to see those pictures of the turntable. We
Yeah.
could, in fact, we could put all of that together and use AI to set up a flow of, tips and diagnosis. And we will be glad to help you to do that.
This is beyond. This is so far beyond the vision I had 7 years ago. Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, you kept doing this for 7 hard years. We're
Well,
very grateful.
I'm just a hard-headed Mick from Southwest Philadelphia. That's all it was. I wasn't going to give up.
What keep you going?
But it's complete trust. I can't control evil in the world. I can't control it. But I can do the best I can to counter it.
Yes.
And that's what we're doing. That's why I'm so committed and so happy that you're all doing what you're doing right now.
Thank you, Tom.
You take a little piece,
One day at a time.
and if my one little piece can help
Yes.
the bigger picture, great.
More people like you who cares, the better the world will be. And, NFCR is a 53 years old organization. We will continue to push forward until we beat this disease. So I'm hopeful. I think the last 5 years is even more exciting than the last 50 years. I'm very hopeful we're going to make some incredible progress to help patients like Bernadette and many others. I believe Bernadette would have been very proud of you, knowing all the things you have been doing to help others. She, being a nurse, she would absolutely be proud of you.
And she'd be smiling.
Yes. Thank you, Tom, for sitting down with me.
Thank you for doing what you're doing.
What you are doing is helping one big part of journey.
You've given me the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of All Things Cancer. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss future conversations. To learn more about how the National Foundation for Cancer Research is working with the global research community to make cures possible, visit nfcr.org. You can also reach us directly at 800-321-CURE.